What's good? All right, I know you guys can't see me well, but yeah, I decided to do something. Yeah. I'm at a point now that I want to put out that Casey Anthony book to people. It's not even about money. It never really was. I mean, in the back of my mind, at moments it was, but I kept fighting that, saying to myself that it's not about that. You know, something led me on a crazy journey, and I'm about to give you a summary of the book, and I haven't done this yet, but this is me wanting people to realize that there's something more out there. There's something definitely spiritual in this world, and I got a first-hand glance at it. You know, I got a chance to really go against the grain, and finally realize I was going against the grain, and moments just kept coming to me that were just very spiritual and very special. My whole demeanor has changed. Everything about me is different right now because I changed my perspective. You know, I see life differently, and it's not because I just decided to. I mean, it was, I didn't know what to believe in this world. So let me just get right into it, because I don't want to make this too long either. I don't want to bore nobody. So anyways, I had went through a lot, right? About 2000, the end of 2003, 2004, I was going through a drug issue with cocaine. About 6 months prior, I actually did it a few times. Never really wanted nothing to do with it. But then when the ecstasy went out the picture, and by the way, it says it gives you holes in your brain. Well, I found out after I got in a car accident on the way to work as a massage therapist at a chiropractic clinic. I said I wanted a brain MRI. Nothing's wrong with my head. I just wanted to know if that was true, you know. And you can't always believe what you see on TV, because, you know, I was doing a lot of ecstasy, and it was such a loving drug, and it was such happy times, and there's so much good about it that it was just crazy. But I can see where it could be abused like anything, you know. At the end of the day, it's not about needing something to love you. It's about just loving you, you know, and this is what I'm getting to. So the cocaine took effect when basically I got into a car accident. It was a weird situation because when it happened, it was definitely it was an old man's fault, but I jumped out the car to see if he was okay. You know, I was more worried about the guy. And somebody I knew from like middle school just came out the woodwork, not even where I grew up, and he was like, "Yo, Keith, say your neck, say your neck." So I wound up going through this whole case where even my job, this is what they dealt with. They dealt with car accidents and shit like that. He was actually trying to motivate me to break my own rib to get me $1 million. I mean, this was the kind of shit that was in my ear. These were these evil forces. And I call it evil forces because this is the stuff I kept seeing through life, and I kept living through and seeing the things were happening, right? So anyways, I won a $100,000 settlement, but in those 6 months, right afterwards, the cocaine took over, and it's not like I was looking for it. It came to me, you know, talking about the purest shit you can get, like cut it in half, and you think you're getting the purest shit. But at the same time, I remember not long before hating that, like not wanting that around me, and I could see when one thing goes away, because the reality is that the ecstasy went out in Orlando, there was no more of it. So I'm sure people still wanted the party, so they were doing what was available, and it became the harder stuff. That's why places in like Amsterdam, they don't have as bad of a drug issue, because people, if they can have a fun high that they can find out is actually cleaner, which with the ecstasy, we could actually look it up. We go to pillreports.com, I'd be able to find out the ingredient, and, you know, I didn't want nothing dirty. I didn't want the specs, the dark specks, which was heroin. I didn't want none of that stuff, but at the same time, you know, I was losing myself. And the cocaine, you know, at first I'd see people that were acting weird, and I'd be like, you know what, that's not like this, that ain't me. And I mean, at first I could do it and be like, I could do anything. I was like Superman to a point. The difference with the ecstasy and the cocaine is cocaine would wear off, and you feel instantly depressed like shit, and that's where the addiction part. Ecstasy was more of those things that last long, and you just, you know, it just was fun, and you'd wake up the next day just drained, like wore out, but you never want to hurt nobody or rob nobody, which the other drugs do. That's why if people had a choice to do the other one, you know, of course I want to teach people how not to do drugs, but sometimes people had choices. Maybe they wouldn't do the things that are as horrible as they are. So anywho, I left Orlando, barely got away. I mean, when I say I started predicting the moves of evil, like I was under attack, it was like really happening. And I barely got away. And when I say barely got away, I sold my house, and the 3 days before it closed, I went to stay with, you know, in a hotel just to get away from people. very first day I watched the movie Passion of Christ, that night I get arrested for a DUI. I was going through a spiritual warfare for sure. Well, anyways, I got away. I ended up getting a settlement for $100,000 for the car accident. Sold my house, made about $40,000. But I left my house for 20-something years. A house that was actually only 5 houses from Casey Anthony, right? So I had all that coming to me, but I was still lost. I was going through a lot of depression because the day I went to stay at a hotel, I was scared of people because I saw like everybody was attacking me. I saw like the moment that I was depressed or weak is when I was under attack. And I started analyzing how I was thinking in my head and good and evil and all that stuff. I was just constantly thinking about it. And when I started predicting the moves, I started realizing, no, I'm not messed up. Like I'm seeing something. Kind of like I tell people, it's kind of like Tupac and Biggie's last albums. They were seeing like what was going to happen to them because you start feeling that evil. You feel it. And that's when you got to make a change. So that's what I did. That's why I sold the house. But here I was all of a sudden, getting arrested for a DUI, and it just a lot of weird situations happened, man. I ended up being the only guy that the judge let out because I broke down about what I was going through spiritually and how I was fighting to be a better man, and it was just crazy, and weird things continue to happen. I'm not gonna get into everything because I'd be here for hours. So, anywho, I lost all my money in the stock market, which I invested all of it before the crash happened. The biggest recession, whatever, which was really a depression. But anyways, especially for me, I lost everything. I went from $100,000 in the bank to about $100,000 in debt because I started going to school to get student loans just to put back in the stock market because I was so desperate to get that money back because I just finally tasted, life with money like that and prosperity, and I never got to enjoy it. I lost it so quickly, and I was spending heavily, and things were just happening. It just kept going and going and going, and years later, I would seek out family only to get rejected by my stepfather in Atlanta, and I didn't feel comfortable around my own mom. My sisters never came to see me either. Since I came out the Navy years earlier, I've been so disconnected, and that's what led to the drugs, and that's what led to losing myself. And I swear to you, I ended up losing everything. Ended up back in Orlando, ended up homeless after such a time, but I kept losing everything, and I always remember my mentality was like, I mean well, I'm a good person, which is true. I am a good person, but I wasn't understanding things the way I should. I was thinking something was owed to me because I mean well, like as if I mean well, so my life should be good. But the reality is, my life is great, but I wasn't seeing it. I was expecting things. I was trying to, find out ways to love myself, either beating people in something, achieving something, standing out in a crowd, doing things to make people love me. But I was doing it to make me love myself, even back in the days when I'd meet a lot of women, and I'd always rush into a situation that really I didn't even feel comfortable with. So it would just be so weird that, I wanted to achieve the person liking me or wanted me, make me love myself, but then it was like a constant thing that it was never working. So, just so many things I've gone through that. So here I was, my mom, my stepfather rejected me. I ended up coming back to Orlando after leaving for a few years, and I started falling back into certain things and working at gentlemen's clubs, making money, but at the same time, I'm the one guy who's like just trying to do a 40-day spiritual sobriety in that environment because I was always going through spiritual warfare. So after I came back to Orlando, a lot of things I went through kept losing. I ended up losing my credit. I had 15 credit cards. It's crazy, and I had great credit, but luckily I had great credit when I became homeless because it helped me get a place. But spiritually, things kept happening to me, debts that would come to me, and things that would just happen. And, I ended up in the Casey Anthony case, and when I tell you everything just came to me, it came to me in a way that really I was soul searching more than I was looking for Kaylee, but I couldn't help but see these things. I'm like, whoa. And it just kept deepening and deepening. And I was begging for it at this point because I had left Orlando. My house was 20-something years, over $100,000 in bank. Now I'm $100,000 in debt. I'm homeless. And at this time, I started smoking crack. I wasn't trying to. It was coming to me. But like when you're weak and you're depressed, things attack you because you're weak. That's when evil kicks in. So anyways, I went through the whole case. I wrote, I ended up in the middle of it all. I ended up being within yards of finding Kaylee, like right there. They were doing an interview. It would have been right behind us, but I didn't do the interview because my friend had a drug issue. And, that was right at the beginning. That was before Roy Kronk. And then here I was, not even a week later, I'm telling this lady while I'm doing armed security in the hood and OBT area. And I'm telling this lady, you know, that I have these vibes. I'm supposed to find that girl Kaylee. And she tells me, you got to be kidding me. My mother's a psychic in Texas. My mother has been trying to call the Orlando Police Department. She winds up calling her mother 6 in the morning, which was 4 in the morning in Texas. This was an old lady that was woken up to this. This wasn't like calling the psychic network. This was just an old lady woken up. And when I tell you everything she spoke about, and I was going against her, she was telling me, listen, it was just a gift I got. It was all coming to, you know, it was all like sounding so believable that I knew I was going to find her. Right after this psychic told me this stuff, I went over there, I found stuff. One of the things the psychic told me is about the mother now knowing, told him Casey to shut the F up. I found stuff the animals brought to the house. She was hesitant to come out. You know, so there's already one clue coming true that she told me. And there's so many things that sound so believable that it's like giving me like a listing of things. And everything on those lists were coming to reality, and I was checking it off, and it got to a point where it's me saying, I don't think I know what happened. I know. I started believing it, and I also started growing faith in different things. I'm talking about working at, you know, going from a gentleman's club, making a lot of money, to wanting to get out of that business, to get a job at something positive, which was the airport, but pushing wheelchairs. And I'm in my late 30s, but I was going 10 miles a day, which led to the arthritis later, but I was going 10 miles a day. And I was making money, but guess what? The best thing ever. I never thought I'd be so appreciative, because when I got there, I had so much anxiety and depression. I'd meet people talk about how bad my issues are, and this person would be telling me that they're about to die, like literally about to die. And it would hit me so hard, like, wow. I felt so ashamed of myself. You know, I'd cry a lot. That spiritual warfare. It was the way it was all happening. It was like it was molding me. So when everything in the Casey Anthony case was coming true to me, when I wasn't even looking to be in it, I wasn't trying to watch something. It just was happening. It was pulling me into it. I was soul searching, and I was losing everything, but I was finding things. Things were just, and I kept having moments where, like, I had a gun in my lap thinking about robbing the liquor store, and I blow a tire. So somebody says, Jesus loves you. I start crying. A moment where I'm about to flip out at work, because the first month after working the gentleman's club, now I'm working at this regular job, and I just got a apartment, but I'm already about to go into an eviction after 1 month. And I went from about to bug out telling people I love them, I love you, like weirdo, but I was saying I love you, and it just, my whole day turned around, and the day ended with some lady saying something to me, and next thing I know, out the corner of my eye, she puts a wad of cash in my pocket, $440. But a lot of things happened after that. I mean, things just kept happening, so spiritual. And then one day I'm just sitting there looking at a tree, and I gotta tell you, I just watched a whole story about how only humans see color the way we do. And I'm looking at the tree and looking at the color of the fruits, and I'm just like, wow. And I'm realizing that it's meant to be plucked, that only our hands, apes and gorillas, you know, we're closely attached to, you know, are able to pluck. And then we see the color like that. It's meant to be peeled. And it's so perfect for a mouse. It's like, well, hold on. If we evolved to be what we are, why would a tree evolve to feed us? Why would it care about us in that way? We're not trying to feed the trees. Why would they want to feed us? And then it just hit me, and everything came together. I'm like, yo, wow. We're created. I don't care what you say. We are created. This is creation. It's too artistic. Everything is perfectly blended and mixed. But I also feel like humans, we're such a great, intelligent design, but at the same time, we're a flaw, because now we're just killing the earth. And I'm telling you right now, everything that came to me came down to one word, and that word was love. Because when you wake up and you look in the mirror and you don't beat yourself up, but you realize how special and lucky you are to be here, that you don't need to win the lottery to be happy. You need to realize that you are the lottery ticket. If you come from a family that was playing, you're like a pick 3 winner. If you come from a family that didn't even want you, man, you're the Powerball. You know how lucky you are to be here? You know all history, all that shit happened, and somehow our genes got through all that shit and made us. You know how special you are? And all these years I'm looking at myself like, it just all hit me like I wasn't living right. I was expecting things. Nothing's owed to me. I already got the greatest gift ever. Ever. I'm alive. And that's why I don't expect stuff anymore. I realize that I get what I earn, but I'm appreciative, and I give what I want, and what I want is love, and I'm going to give love. And then it just, you know, I started realizing that something created us, and if it created us, it watches us, and there's something. Let's stop the religious acts of just saying, oh, we're right here, and that means they're wrong, or we're right, and they're wrong. Let's stop saying any of them are wrong. Maybe they all come from a good place, and maybe the manipulation might make them wrong in their own ways. And let's just accept that we're here by creation and come together and realize that we're not that intelligent. We still think that a lot of animals are intelligent. We're morons. I mean, literally, the more I learn, the more I realize how stupid I am. So if you think you're really smart, well, you're extremely stupid, because the smarter we are, we realize we're not as smart as we think we are. We need to learn things and do. When something came to me, it came to me. And guess what? When I changed my perspective, did that 180, it changed everything. I don't do things out of happiness because something's owed to me. I do things out of happiness because I appreciate I'm alive. And I just don't understand how stupid I was to think all these years like something was owed to me. Wow. But it's just wisdom. It's what you learn. And it's why when you get this wisdom, you got to give back. This is what I'm doing right now. That Casey Anthony case that I went through, something good came out of it. Out of a horrible situation. And I love to be able to talk about, how I believe I know how Kaylee died. But more importantly, I love to talk about how I know something now that would have changed it from ever happening. The wisdom I got now, I could talk to that person and say this is that, maybe speak the wisdom that I realize now that evil was manipulating me. And once I change that perspective and I see it all differently, I'm ashamed of the things I did in the past, but I'm proud to be in a position that I can help others to, get them out of that quicker. Because a lot of people die. I'm lucky to get through what I got through. But I realize now that I was blessed because something molded me to not only get out of it, but now give back. Now that I'm this person, my anxiety, depression, it all went away. I am lucky. And so the book is just, it's a climax in my life. That book is missing the beginning that happened to me that led into that. It's missing the after effect. And I'm giving you a taste of that right now. So I just want you guys to know that love is the only answer. Because if you're not loving yourself, evil will manipulate you and lead you in its direction. And I'll tell you, some of the craziest things you ever heard of cult killings, or like the Jonestown, or even the Koresh, the Waco shit, those murders and all. Those people that originally led all those people to that, I think they really were given an intervention with God, like goodness at the beginning. It drew them to help and be strong characters of people. But I think evil just came in and just twisted it around, because evil doesn't want love. I think the anxiety issue I went through was something trying to shut me up. And now that I learned to love myself and it's coming out, like, there is going to be something that's always the opposite in this world. We live in a balance. You know what I mean? So some days you'll be like, oh, you have the best days ever. And it's also like, boom, you have the worst days. It's like something's always keeping you in balance. And I've learned the ultimate balance is just being appreciative of the life that you were given. And more than just your life, this whole earth. This is all a creation. If I created a beautiful system of games or whatever, and I picked you to be in it, wouldn't you feel special? Well, let's feel special. Be happy. Stop looking about who has more. When you can have less materialistic items and be more happy than that person because you have more appreciation. Life's about appreciation and love. And when you fall off that, the other one kicks in. So don't let the other one, come into your life. Just love. God is love. That said, wish y'all the best in this whole coronavirus. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm appreciative to have this career now started. Things are doing really well. 2 years into truck driving, and 2 years ago almost was homeless, and now I'm making about $60,000-$70,000 a year. Still $100,000 in debt though. But it's a start, and I'm appreciative. And everyone get well. And keep your eyes open, people. The government, there's a lot of manipulation, corruption, conspiracy theories. Look into it, because we gotta learn to realize life's about love, and manipulation is not wanting you to love. It's a business to make you not love yourself and buy more, purchase more. Realize that they want you to buy more. They want you to spend. That's how they manipulate you, through media, because all the money that you give them. So you need to open your eyes and just love yourself and love the world, love everything around you, because love will only bring goodness. All right, guys. Peace.